Hello, YouTube. I'm just setting up on Facebook. Am I on the right one? Yes, live. And there we go. Okay. Oops. No, I'm not live. Now I will be. Okay, just waiting for people to turn up. Okay, I got one person in YouTube here. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. I'm not usually on it. It's a really weird time for me to be on. I'm actually procrastinating with some work I should be doing. So, but my daughter's not watching. I'll be in trouble. She's bugging me to do something that I should be doing. But anyway. Okay. Hello, Michelle. I don't bring people in on lives. I only did it once a couple years ago, and yeah, I won't do it again. Just because you never know. That was someone who was on TikTok, and I was brand new at doing lives, and yeah, they just wanted my audience, and they just were trying to sell to my audience, and I had a couple thousand people in that live. And yeah, they started talking about what they were selling. So yeah, and I didn't know how to get rid of them. I was brand new at doing lives. Oh, it was awful. Anyway, I learned. That was a couple of years ago. Okay. I'm just waiting for everyone to turn up. Whales. What is that? What's that? What's the emojis there? Is that a flag or like I don't have the best eyesight, so that's part of it. Okay. I was I'm pretty sore today. I'm not walking much. I was walking to the gym yesterday and got hit by a car. The guy whipped around. I had the walk signal, but he whipped around the corner. Obviously wasn't looking, wasn't paying any attention. Oh, Welsh flag. Oh, okay. And anyway, I just sort of rolled on top of the hood, but it was a Tesla. He never did. I don't even think he knew he hit me. It was so fast and he just didn't see me. Anyway, he had a Tesla. Evidently when they come in contact with something, they stop. So when it was like a power down, it was a weird stop. And even when I was being rolled around, I thought that was weird the way it stopped. But evidently, thank God I got hit by a Tesla. If that was a truck, I'd be dead by now. But anyway, it was pretty scary. So yeah, just a bit sore today, but I'll be fine. But yeah. Quite traumatic being hit by a car. They said, would there have been any damage to the car? I said, no, but my handprints would be on the hood. So, anyway, they did catch up with them, luckily. So yeah, it was weird. You know what's funny is that experience, like all I could think was, thank God it wasn't me and not my kids, for one thing. And then also I thought, God, how lucky was I? How lucky was I? When I was rolling around on the hood, I thought, don't go under, don't go under. It was very fast the way it happened, but I was terrified of going under the car. But yeah, I was very lucky. So yeah, I'm pretty sore today, but I'll be all good. I think some physio should fix me up. So yeah, weird. You never know. You never know. You know, each day is not a given; it's a gift. So I'm a pretty positive person anyway, but boy, do I ever feel lucky today. Okay, enough of that. Be safe on the road, eh? I did order lit up armbands, reflective, and they also are lit up. So it was not pitch black out, but it was dark, rainy day. So yesterday here when I got hit, but now I've ordered armbands that have lights on them, flashing lights, and they're reflective and all that stuff. I ordered 2 pairs, one for my daughter and one for myself. So anyway, yeah. Be careful out there. Eh? You never know. I was lucky. So anyway, okay, enough about that. Just a little safety warning. So let's get going with the live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you'll see my website. On there is my courses, etc. So you can check that all out. And you can look into coaching if you'd like, one-on-one with me. What was I going to say about that? My favorite thing in my business by far is coaching. I love taking people who say, I'm just messed up my kids. I'm a mess. And then by the end of it, they go, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I'm actually enjoying my kids. So I don't just want you to raise obedient soldiers. I want you to have fun. I want you to find the joy in parenting. It was the most fun I ever had. These are little human beings that you're molding into your little buddies. You can laugh with them. When they're teenagers, they're going to find different ways that you necessarily aren't going to have a lot in common with them. But when they're little, you're kind of molding them into fitting into your ways. Like I always say, they were my humor victims. I'm very goofy. And, that fits right in with having kids, actually. But yeah, it's great if they're just your little friends. So get all that pesky discipline out of the way. Then you can just relax and enjoy them. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. I feel like I should be announcing stuff. I've been announcing so many new things in the business. The group coaching sessions on Saturdays are going well with the boot camp course. It's all listed above in the link. So you can join in anytime. And the first one on the boot camp course, it's already put into the course now. So if you want to see about that, both courses, the boot camp courses. Okay, so what are your parenting questions? I'll do my best to answer them. But I'm going to start with something that I say pretty much in every single live because it comes up. What are my top 5 tips for parenting toddlers? Toddlers are the discovery phase. They're just finding a whole bunch of new stuff. They might even go like this and smear poop on the wall. So they're kind of nuts, okay? Now, this is number 1, childproof your home so you never have to say no. Number 2, set up a toy rotation system so they're never bored. Number 3, connect with toddlers in their world, not your world. You don't go to the nail salon with them. You go to the park and roll down the hill. They just look at you differently, okay? It's a different way of connecting. And number 4 is discipline toddlers in their world. They're not about words, they're about actions. And so stop with these mini therapy sessions discussing all the big feelings and big emotions. Everyone wants to discuss all the negative. And how did you feel when you did that bad behavior? And they're always discussing bad behavior. Stop doing that. It's ridiculous. They don't need you discussing their bad behavior. Just deal with it and move on. It becomes their identity. The more you talk about bad behavior, the more it becomes their identity. Also, they're more likely to continue to do it because where you put your focus and where you put your energy is what grows. So I know it's trendy to discuss all this stuff, but it's ridiculous. Don't do it. Okay, number 5, not that I have an opinion on that. Number 5, stop trying to figure them out. They're not figure-outable as they haven't formed yet. Toddlers are brand new, fresh human beings. They're just forming. They've got one marble and some tumbleweed floating around in there. I always call them crazy, but it's just that they haven't developed sanity yet, right? Cute as a button, but they're all feet, no brains. I'm buying your program for toddlers just for my daughter for Christmas. I tell her how awesome your advice is. Check in with her first because I hate it when people buy parenting advice and then the person takes offense to it. Would she like it? So, don't buy my stuff as a gift unless you know they're going to take it, as oh, thank you, instead of, why are you saying I'm a lousy mother? Years ago, I had a mother-in-law surprise her daughter-in-law with me coaching. To say those sessions did not go well is an understatement. Yeah, it didn't go well. Anyway, be careful with that. Okay, how do I help encourage sharing, taking turns with 19? You don't. They don't understand sharing. You can just teach them not to grab stuff, okay? So you don't so much. They don't understand sharing. They're 19 months old. They barely understand anything at this point. They're just forming. So it's more about not grabbing. Also, make sure things are fair. Make sure that they each have stuff to do or it's something that they can actually share. So, Spokane, Washington. I've been there once, and I don't know why. I was a child. I don't know why. This is all I remember about it. The first time I ever had, I think they were chocolates that looked exactly like stones, and they were in a little plastic tube, and that was in Spokane. Isn't that crazy? What you remember? I would have been 5 or 6. It's the only time I've ever been to Spokane. So pebbles and edible pebbles. Oh, you asked about your grandson. I only teach parenting. I don't discuss grandparenting. I'm a grandparent, but it's different from parenting. Ooh, someone's going to hate me I've been answering comments on Instagram lately. I'm just trying to do it. I just haven't had a lot of time. My daughter usually gets to the DMs and runs a lot of stuff by me just to make sure. But she knows my message by now usually. Anyway, I just started answering comments. Ooh, someone's going to hate me in there. Someone said something I didn't agree with, and did I come at them? I felt really bad about it, but don't look it up. There's no need to. I couldn't help myself. Oh God, I'm laughing, but I'm a little bit nervous about that one. But I just gotta say what I gotta say. It was about teachers versus parents. I'm very defensive of teachers. I'm a big fan of teachers. Okay. Standing Rock. Oh, I always say that wrong. Sioux Reservation. We love and support. Oh, thanks so much for that. I have a client, or no, I had a client earlier this year who lived on a reservation, and it was quite interesting because I love the different cultures and all the different programs that they had. It was fascinating. It was a wonderful community that they lived in. Okay. Marble and tumbleweed, yeah. And they're just forming. It's not that they're dumb, they just haven't formed yet. You know, I think that's all I've got left. I'll be honest. I can tell. I'm 64 now, and I can tell my brain isn't as fast as it once was. I was really fast at one time, really quick, very quick-witted, very fast. Now I can barely form a sentence. And the only reason that this is stuff I've been doing forever, but yeah, I'm kind of borderline moron at this point. You just lose so many brain cells as you get older. And you look at people who are like in their 80s and 90s, they seem slow. It's still there. It's just a slower, I think the processing system is what slows down. Definitely not as fast as I was, for sure. And that's why kids, you know, they're just so quick. Do you have a book or recommending? I've never written a book, and I've never read a book on kids or parenting. All my information comes from working with kids and raising them. So yeah, I would never read a book on parenting. But I'm sure the whole time I'm reading it, I'm going, yeah, right. Because I'm self-taught and I'm very opinionated because I've been doing this for 50 plus years. It's all the same stuff. So yeah, I have a very strong opinion that now it's not that I think my way is the only way, but it's all I could teach because I teach through my own personal experience. So are we allowed to ask questions? That's what I'm here for. It's the only place you can ask them really is here because I don't have time to answer email questions. We don't answer email questions or anything. But yeah, this is where you ask questions. Or if you turn up to the group coaching sessions on every Saturday with the boot camp courses, that's where you get that access to that. That's for 6 weeks. We've already done one, so we've got 5 more coming up. That's where I answer questions. And then, of course, one-on-one coaching. Okay. So yes, Jamie, you can ask questions here. I don't get to them all. I flip through them too because I want to make sure people are still here when I answer them. Because people come and go, especially when you got kids. There's like all, you know, they're coming at you different directions. Southport, Merseyside, England. Oh, I was thinking Southport, Queensland, Australia. Because I lived in Australia. Good parent, good parent. Oh, excellent. Thanks so much for your support, Jeanette. I appreciate that. It was interesting. My last name is Bunnage, and I can't remember. Oh, when I got hit by the car yesterday, so the ambulance guy said, Bunnage, oh, is that English? And yeah, it is. It comes from my ex-husband. I met, you know, he was Australian, but his parents were from England. I didn't know Bunnage was English. I had no idea. So I should tell my ex-husband that. Someone guessed that. I'll write that down. I'll tell him. Bunnage. English. Yeah, no one had ever done that. Anyway, I already told this story about how I was walking across the street and a car hit me. I'm pretty sore, but I'm not walking well, but I'm pretty sore. It was all his fault. They caught him. So yeah, he didn't deny it. Okay. Okay. Would love you. I'm just going to read this out, but I don't know if I can answer it because it might be about teaching. Then I don't discuss that. Would love you to talk about parents of young school children. 25 years working with KS kids, KS1 kids. I don't know what that means. Kindergarten. I don't know what that means. Notice such a difference in recent years. Well, good or bad. Okay. Here's the thing. There's 3 different types of parenting. The old-fashioned authority, the newfangled pleaser parent, and then I'm somewhere, I don't know where I am, but I'm neither of those. And the old-fashioned authority was not a bad way to parent at all. But you do run the risk of them rebelling in the teen years. The newfangled pleaser parent style, where you're trying to discuss all their big feelings and big emotions all the time. Heaven forbid you should use the word no. And you try and make everything fun. You want them to have participation awards. You're raising self-entitled snowflakes with mental health issues. It is a train wreck. I see it all the time. Parents come to me to fix all that stuff up, right? Anyway, total disaster. They never respect you. They rebel right from day one, right through the teen years. It's just a disaster. Anyway, of course, I'm exaggerating to get my point across, but that's who I am. Anyway, I teach leadership. Leadership is you give respect to get it. And kids love that. If I messed up, boy, my kids would come to me. You said you were going to do that last night and you forgot. I'd say, great, what do you want? We'd love to go to the water slide park today. I'd say, fine, I'll take you. So you got to give respect to get it, right? They never rebel. And my son was 15 and he would have liked to have rebelled. He kind of had that, not a lot, but he had a little bit of that in him. And he was mad at me one day and he said to me, you've been a difficult mom. And I was shocked. I thought I was wonderful. And because we were like best friends. And I said, what? And he says, I've got nothing to rebel against. You're too reasonable and easy to talk to. Didn't know whether to apologize or celebrate. Anyway, so yeah, they can't rebel against a leader because you're giving respect to get it. And you're friends, but you're still the leader. You're the one that brings out the best in them. You raise their self-esteem. You make them feel good about themselves. And they're tough. They've got fortitude. They're self-disciplined. They're strong. That's what you want. You're raising strong people who have a good sense of humor, who apologize when they need to, who are accountable. They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but they're pretty decent human beings. Someone said to me, how did your kids turn out? I tried to keep it short. I wanted to go on and on about it, but well, all about my children. I don't talk about my kids a lot as adults, other than my daughter. You can see her on my podcast. She's my business partner. My son's 34, almost 35 now. He's a father, very, very hard worker, just like his sister. And, but yeah, so they're great kids. None of us are perfect. Who would want that? Wouldn't you want to vomit around a perfect person anyway? How boring would that be? So yeah, it's about raising good people that like themselves and are good to other people. That's the bottom line. We all have the flu. Yuck. I'm at like 20% energy. I can give and struggling. Any tips on how to parent while sick? Nope, none whatsoever. None. I have no advice. Just try and survive. There you go. That's my best advice. But when you're a leader, your children respect you anyway, and they'll just help you out. I'm going to tell you this horrible story. I don't think I've ever told this on a live. I talk a lot in coaching about stories. This one I've told many times in coaching. It's so gross, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Anyway, if you want to leave now, I'm just giving you a warning. Anyway, we had, I'm going to have to, I don't want, because it does the auto, the words here, and I got to be careful what I say. How am I going to say this? Oh, shoot. Can I even say it? It's so gross. Let me think about it. But it's about being sick. Okay, I'm going to tell you, when you're sick, your kids are good anyway. They're just easy to be around. When you're a leader, when you're sick, it doesn't matter. They're gonna help you out, right? Anyway, this was my kids were 12 and 7, and we had a flu that didn't come out this end, came out the other end. So we were laughing at my daughter who was 7 because she had sitting on the couch. It happened. So we were laughing. She was laughing. It was like, oh, come on. I guess it's because you're 7. We were laughing. Sure enough, like a couple hours later, I'm sitting on the couch. Same thing happened. So I'm running down the hallway trying to hold it in, holding my shorts together. And we were just cracking up. The kids and I they were running after me down the hall as I'm running to the bathroom. And I was just laughing because here I'd been teasing my daughter about, shooting out that end. And then it happened to me. So anyway, here's the cute part. So we were all sick. We weren't feeling great, right? So we were all sick. And I'm in the bathroom and I'm cracking up. It was just awful. Anyways, my son was 12. And you know what he said to me through the bathroom door? Mom, now this is a 12-year-old boy. He said, Mom, do you want me to help you get cleaned up? Oh, is that the sweetest thing? And I said, sure, come on in. No, I said, never mind, I'll be fine. Just bring a bunch of towels and that. But isn't that the cutest thing? So when you're a leader, you just kind of sail through stuff with your kids. It doesn't matter if you're sick or anything. But yeah, that was one of the sweetest things my son ever did. Help you get cleaned up. I should have let him in. He would have been horrified for the rest of his life. Talk about trauma. We all survived. Okay. Oh, there we go. What do you say to a 15-year-old teen boy who speaks disrespectful to his teen sisters? It's kind of a tricky one because I don't know the situation. What are they doing? What are they doing to annoy him? Usually it's to his teens. Are they older or younger? He either does it for attention and he annoys them to get their attention, or if they're younger usually, then they're annoying him to get his attention. Which is it? It's a different answer for each one. So I don't know. Teens are my favorite age, by the way. Okay. And don't just say younger or older. I won't remember the question. You have to put the whole question down and put the age in. How do you, well, I'm not going to say the word foster child because they don't really discuss foster parenting unless you've got, full, like, you're like the acting parent. How do you, like, if they love to argue, they can only argue if you're arguing back at them. If they keep going, I'd just say, oh, well, I don't know anything or something like that. It shuts them down. What can they say to that? Oh, well, silly me. But you did that. Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, just shut it down like that. It doesn't work with every single scenario, but generally that's the attitude I have. If they're just being difficult and argumentative, I don't join into that. No freaking way. They can't pull me into that. I just say, oh, well, what do I know? And it kind of shuts them down. Oh, okay. Like just basically admit you're stupid kind of thing, right? What can they say to that? Well, silly me. Don't say something like this. I'm not going to argue with you. That's the authority. That's that condescending, patronizing stuff I hate so much. Yeah, it doesn't work. Now, is it justified in saying that? I'm not going to argue with you yet, but being right is not always right. Does that make sense? Like whenever I'm working with parents of teenagers, I say, don't be a right fighter. Being right is not what you want to do with a teenager. I'll tell you how to get respect, but it's not by being right. I know how to get your respect, but don't worry about being right. Usually you are right and they're wrong. You go with that. Good luck. Good luck with that. Doesn't work. It's like if a parent is arguing with a teenager and then the parent will say something like this. We'll discuss it later when you've calmed down. Oh, accelerator. And you can't figure out why they just told you F off. Can't put that together. You can't figure that one out. Yeah. What you say instead is, I'll tell you what, let's just talk about it later. Okay. And then just calmly leave the room. Yeah. That's patronizing. Imagine if your spouse said that. I'll tell you what, we'll discuss it later when you've calmed down. It's very patronizing, isn't it? It's very condescending. It's very insulting. So think about it. Are you right? Are you going to talk about it later when they've calmed down? Yeah, but is right the right way to go? Absolutely not. You can be right all you want, but if you hire me, you're not going to be allowed to be right all the time anymore. Not with a teenager, especially. So I'm going to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer your question because people come and go all the time. More go-to phrases. Stop yourself from lecturing, canceling. Oh, well, whatever. Oh, well, silly me. How about we talk about it later? Oh, well, write it down and I'll read it. And I got a million of them. Alrighty then. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to go read a book now, or I'm going to go do the dishes. See, it's a shutdown. Shutting it down. Worst comes to worst, silly me, and then just crazy me, and walk away. If they're really coming at you. Now, if they're really coming at you hard, there's other things that we do. But basically, if they're just arguing, that's different. If they're coming at you in a nasty way, there's different things we do with different ages with that one. But this is just if they're just arguing for the sake of arguing and they're getting on your nerves. Yeah, tell you what, let's talk about it later, okay? Or yeah, you probably got some good points there. Maybe write them down and we can maybe go through it later. Something like that. It forces them to stop and think. They're not gonna write it down. Just kind of shuts them up. Like, oh, okay. That's the idea. When you get good at this, that works. You're learning how to do this. It's harder. They're going to look at you like, what the heck? You've never talked like this before. They're going to get worse before they get better because they remember the old you that they could pull into the argument. If they met me and I used that, they'd probably go, ooh, never mind. Like that 8-year-old that I was asked to work with. He was a handful. And he said to me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to have a fit. And I said to him, bring it on. And he never did. It was like you could see him going, oh, she knows what she's doing. And then we had a great time. He was great with me. They even asked me later, what did you do? I said, I just said, bring it on. So, but yeah, they pick up on your energy. It's all about energy too. A lot of tone of voice. And like, I was inviting the fit. I was inviting the fit. Like, come on, bring it on. Doesn't bother me a bit. Not at all. It's not a challenge. It's just like, it doesn't bother me. Go for it. That's what you want to do. Go ahead. Okay, let me see here. Okay, I'm going to look on YouTube. Funny quick story about how stupid I am sometimes. I'm on YouTube the whole time I'm doing all my lives. That's where all my lives are saved. And that's my smallest platform. I've got like 1.5 million followers, but 20,000 are on YouTube. I don't even think I've got that many. So anyway, it's the best place to watch these lives because I'm more likely to see your questions. I announced this once on a live. Never looked at YouTube once. I was telling everyone, go there. I'll get all your answers. I'll get all your questions. I forgot. I never looked at it once. So yeah, there you go. Okay. Okay. This is Angelica. You've been here before, I think. Thank you for all the help. My 3-year-old son now understands how to be gentle with other at his play gym. His friend at the gym is as rough as my son can be, but now my son sees how it feels to be rough. Oh, that's sweet. My son is understanding rules and how consequences follow broken rules. Good. It's just, there's no anger. It's just you break a rule. Here's a consequence. I believe you have started my leadership pathway with him. I've seen such a difference in how I mother and play in my son's world. Yeah, I always say play in their world. Play is their love language. Okay, their love language is not being told they're wonderful. You know, all this praise and compliments. That's ridiculous. I don't like it either. Actually, my love language is time with me, like spend and laugh. You know, make me laugh. That's my love language, is having fun together. And so are kids. That's why I got a lot of kid in me. So I like to have fun. And my love language is not being told, "Oh, you're so beautiful." I go, "Yeah, do you want to have fun, or you want to play a game or something?" Like, you know, I don't care about that. I never did. I never cared about compliments. So that's why I think I relate to kids so well. Their love language is fun. Play with them. You look at a little 5-year-old boy and you say to him, "You're wonderful. You're special. You're so smart. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to go do the dishes now." You look at his face. What did that do for him? Nothing. Nothing. You say to that same kid, "Hey, what are you playing with? Can I play too?" Oh, look at his face. Night and day, right? Night and day. Stop with all the praise. Praise is okay, but that's for you. Makes you feel good. They really don't care about it. They just don't. Some of my clients are child psychologists. They'll argue that. A few things they argue. They'll argue that when they'll actually say praise gets good behavior. And I say garbage. Not at all. It's ridiculous. Praise does not get good behavior at all. Anyway, and you know, the jury's out whether or not, you know, they think I'm right or they think they're right and vice versa. But I say, you paid me for my advice, just follow it for now. So, okay. Yeah, this is earlier, Tabitha, us on YouTube. I don't know why. Okay. Oh yeah, I know why. If my daughter's watching, I don't want to say why. I'm procrastinating with something she told me I have to do today. She sort of plans everything. So she's very driven, very organized, and I'm not. I'm kind of goofy. So yeah, anyway, that's why I'm on here, because I don't want to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay. Plus, I can't shut up about it either. It's not like I have no filter. Okay. We just had our first chiropractor appointment for my 16-month-old. She loved it and passed out now. Oh, that's cute. My kids were both in. I took them from my daughter especially. I didn't really discover it till my daughter was born. But we used to go to a chiropractor every week. I think you go. I can't remember now. I think it was every week. I'd take the kids in. My daughter was brand new. Took her to the chiropractor, and then I just stopped going. You know. But yeah, we did that for months. I don't know. It's like anything. I haven't had a lot of luck with physios or chiropractors, but I was hit by a car yesterday, so I didn't break anything, but I did roll over the hood. And so I'm going to be getting some. I didn't break anything, so it'll just be physio. So I'm hoping I'll be able to walk better by tomorrow. I did go to the gym, but it was a nightmare. I don't know why. Right after I was hit, I went to the gym. Like by the time the ambulance left and everything, I walked to the gym, and then I realized I was doing one of my exercises at the gym, and I started to cry. I felt so sorry for myself. I thought I was just hit by a car. I'm all by myself in the gym crying. Anyway, so my daughter came and picked me up. Oh, God, stupid. I just don't like to be weak. I don't like to give in to injuries. Okay, praise is bull. It is. It's okay to throw it in, but it's praise instead of play is my concern. Because a lot of parents think they don't have to play. I played hard with kids. I connect with them. I play with them. That is their love language. That gives me a lot of power. That was my superpower. People used to say, "How do you connect with kids?" And they want to please you. I play with them. Like when I was working with kids, because you can't play with your own kids 24/7. But when I was working with kids, it was all like full on me in their world, connecting with them, because that was my power. That was my superpower, was because when I'm having fun with them, or with teenagers, when I'm funny, and then if they do something that I didn't like, I would say, "I'm not big on that. I'm just going to go quiet for about 60 seconds. And I'd just go like that. I'd kind of make fun of it in a way, you know, like kind of keep it light. I don't like anything serious or anything. I kind of keep it light with kids. And they didn't like this. Sorry, Lisa. It's okay. 30 more seconds. You see, that's how I discipline kids when I was working with them. You don't do that with your own kids because you can't play with them 24/7. So it's different. But what I apply to you is a combination of what I did with all the kids I worked with and my understanding of them and what they need, and then my own parenting journey with my 2 kids. But I got respect with my kids when they were tiny and kind of sailed right through the teen years. So it's a little bit different. I'm going over to Instagram now. Check out the link above. You'll see my website. Everything's on there. Check out my courses, and the group coaching sessions are still running on Saturdays. It's all in the information above. Anyway, I'm going to go over to Instagram now. Happy parenting. Bye now. Okay, Tabitha, my God, something. Yeah, humor is my thing. That is, in my family, they were very funny. And if you weren't funny, you kind of were forgotten. You had to develop a sense of humor. It was just the way it is. You didn't get any attention. Plus, I was the youngest. I was adopted later on in life. So I was the youngest of all the cousins. They were all louder, funnier, smarter, because I was the baby, right? So I had to learn. I had to try and keep up to all these people. So yeah, we had to try and be funny. That was it. That's how you got attention in my family. I remember once I walked into a family dinner and I was the adopted one. And and it was just funny. Like I was the last one to arrive. And I arrived, and there's, I don't know, 20 of them around or whatever, older cousins and aunts and uncles. And I walked in, and for some reason it was silent, whereas everyone's usually fighting to talk over each other. And when I walked in, it just was a really weird, there was no one talking. And that never happened in our family. And one of my cousins looked at, it was my cousin Les, he looked over at me and he goes, "Oh, that's why the adopted one just arrived." Like I was the party pooper. Oh God, I love that. I love being adopted. Lisa, I went to the mom group and had a conversation with the leader. What does that mean? I mentioned last week I had some issues. You told me to leave the group. Oh, right. This was, I'm grateful for your advice. Oh, so you did, eh? I'm pretty sure this is the one where I felt you were being judged and they weren't being very nice to you. I think I said it a bit nicer than that. But so it's worked out. Things are better. Is that the one? Pretty sure that's the one. Okay. Yeah. If you ever feel judged by people as a parent, get out of that group. Just get out of it. They're all younger. Oh, that's so cute. Excellent. Good for you. I was lucky. I'll just introduce myself quickly. I forgot because I flip around different platforms. So anyway, my name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on the link above, you'll see my website and everything I've got there. Anyway, I'm just here answering questions and yabbering on too. But I raised my kids in Australia, and it was very different over there. They're very self-deprecating. Australians do not brag at all, and they don't complain. Well, they didn't when I lived there. I was there for about 20 years. This was probably, almost 20 years ago now. 19 years ago, I moved here back to be with my mom. She passed away, but she was elderly in that. So anyway, but yeah, they were self-deprecating. And I remember, I thought that's the way all parents were. It wasn't until I moved back to Canada that I realized, oh, they're competitive here. They kind of knock each other down, and they brag. And I thought, geez, I said, how does that make when parents are struggling, how do they feel? Do they feel supported? Or like, I remember when we'd have a bad night with our kids or whatever, you think you had a bad night. I was the worst mother in the world last night. I let them scream all night, and I just put some earmuffs on and let them scream. Like, we always seemed to be fighting over who was the worst parent. Just in these baby groups I was in. So yeah, that's, life is messy. Parenting's messy. Laugh it off. And when you get into that competitive atmosphere, I don't want to be around people like that anyway, as an adult, even like without kids. So yeah, I just don't like that kind of stuff. I like self-deprecating. I just want to have fun. I'm like kids. Fun is my love language. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I've had people in my life who don't bring me joy, who cut me down and that, they're all gone now. I don't have to be around those types. I'm 64. I can do whatever I want. I can see whoever I want. So yeah, I'm very much a joy-seeking missile like my mother was. And but yeah, you don't need to be around people who don't make you feel good, unless it's family that you have to be around. But yeah, I'm the oldest generation now, so we don't have an older generation to please anymore. So we can pick and choose who we see. Okay. Well, okay, love your advice. How do you draw the line between the parent and still playing with your kid? You can be a friend and a parent at the exact same time. I'll tell you a good example of that. My mom used to say that to me all the time. She was always confused. She goes, how do your kids respect you when you're chasing them around the house with underpants on your head? And I said, well, they know if they did anything out of line, those underpants would have come off and I would have said, excuse me. And they would have instantly gone, oh, sorry, mom, sorry. And I would have said, well, try again tomorrow. Because I used to do silly stuff every day. So my kids they wanted that. They wanted that joyful, silly mom. So why on earth would they act up? Why would they? Why would they act up if all of a sudden silly mom disappeared? Fun mom disappeared. It wasn't fun all the time. If I wanted my time to myself, oh, scram, I need some no kid time. They'd happily go running off because I met their needs. I was playing with them a lot. I was connecting with them a lot. So yeah, you can be friends and that's the whole point with all this. I want you to find joy in parenting. I want you to have fun. As a leader, you need to be fun. You need to play with your kids. You need to be friends with your kids. But you're always the leader, the parent first. That's your first role. But you don't always have to be doing it because once you get respect, they're not going to act out anyway. Why would they? They want to please the leader. It's like, have you ever had a mentor or a teacher that you really look up to? Would you ever be rude to that teacher or disrespectful to that person? No. You want to please them. Even as an adult, we're like that. It's like that with kids. You want to build them up so they feel good about themselves when they're with you. Therefore, they want to please you because you make them feel good. Anyway, I'll look at the pool story. It's one of the first videos on Instagram here, and it's called Example of Leadership Parenting, and it's the pool story. It's a true story, and it explains this in just a true story. How you deal with bad behavior, then you connect with the kid. You treat the kid as if he's wonderful, but I don't let anything go. I deal with bad behavior, but I do it in such a way that I don't want him to feel shame or feel like crap about himself. If you're shaming your children, if they feel bad about themselves for being bad, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You want that? I would say, well, that was stupid. Just like what I did the other day. Remember I did that? Okay. So we all do dumb things. Nothing wrong with that. But here's the consequence. Here's how you make it up. Right? No shaming, no blaming, no making kids feel bad about themselves. Quite the opposite. Builds them up. Anyway, I told this story over on Facebook just a half hour ago, but I'm going to tell it again because it's a safety warning. I was walking to the gym yesterday morning. It was a dark morning, raining, and the crosswalk just turned in my favor, and I started going, and I'm not kidding. This Tesla whipped around the corner and hit me. I was flying across the hood. And it was jarring, to say the least. And anyway, did you know that Teslas, I found this, I said to my daughter, I said, it stopped in the weirdest way. It was like a fast power down, like, the way it stopped. It didn't stop and screech or anything. Anyway, so she said, oh, Teslas are equipped with this mechanism that if it comes in contact with something, it stops automatically. I didn't know that. Thank God. If that was another car that didn't have that, I would be dead today for sure. It was fast the way he came at me. Anyway, my point is, and then I ordered these lit up. If you're walking in the dark in the rain, don't expect cars to be able to see you. I know he didn't even look. I could tell the way he peered out of there. If he'd looked, he would have seen me because I wore a light colored jacket because it was dark out. Anyway, I bought those reflectors that also have lights that flash armbands. So for my daughter and myself. So yeah, just, don't worry about how you look. You got your kids, you're pushing a stroller with kids and it's a dark, rainy day. Get reflective lights, get whatever you got to get. You do not want to go through what I went through yesterday morning. It was very scary. But anyway, so I'm not walking well today, but that's okay. I'll get all fixed up. Didn't break anything. I was very lucky. All I kept thinking was don't go under the car, stay on top of it. Okay. So yeah, get those armbands, get lit up when you're out, especially with your kids, light them up. Don't expect cars to do the right thing. Anyway, they did catch him. He's in trouble. And hopefully he won't do that again. Okay. I don't even want to answer this. I don't want to say why, but I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to say why. Airplane tantrums help. The only time I'll ever go against what I say is if they're sick or you're on an airplane. Give in to whatever they want. If you're on an airplane full of people, do not put other passengers through that. That is really inconsiderate. You give your kid whatever they want. You want some candy? Here you go. You want whatever they want. I would give it to them. But even when they're little, they understand when you get off that plane, you're back to the old you again. So they understand it's only on planes. And how often are you flying anyway? But just don't, it's very rude to do that to other people. Same within a restaurant. You get up and go. What I always say, you ignore tantrums. You pick your kid up and let them have a tantrum in the parking lot, not in a restaurant. But if you are in an airplane or somewhere where you're confined with people and you can't get away, give them whatever they want. It's not fair to other people. They're going to hate you and your kid. You get a target on the back of your head when you leave if you do that to people. Yeah, they're after you. I heard a really funny story. Someone got berated. They got off the plane. Oh, just a sec. My daughter's asking me something. Oh, she doesn't know I'm on here. Thank God. No thanks, sweetie. I'll get in trouble. I'm supposed to be doing something. My daughter works with me, so she told me I'm procrastinating. That's why I'm doing a live. Okay. Okay. You got to tell me the ages, and don't just put the age, put down the whole question and the age, because I get so many questions that I'm skipping through. I won't know which question I need it all together in one comment. I'm going to read out before I go on. Okay. A lot of parents, I know this is common. I get why you want to do it, but it's so wrong. Oh, by the way, the mini courses are gone now. No, they're all gone. We amalgamated them all into the toddler boot camp course. Anyway, they're there, but they're in the boot camp course. I got a few reasons for that, but it's not worth talking about really. Anyway, parenting as a leader is about making kids feel good about themselves. You don't do that by discussing bad behavior. You deal with bad behavior and then move on. You do not need to discuss it. They're not morons. They understand hitting is bad. They understand. Just say, that was bad. You broke a rule. Here's the consequence. Okay? That's it. Don't go on. Why would you discuss that? Well, how did you feel? How did that make you feel when you hit them? All that garbage, you're just dragging them down. You're shaming them. You're blaming them, and you're making them feel like crap, and they're going to do it again. Okay? Because you're lowering them. And when you lower your children, their self-esteem, they're going to keep acting out. Instead, I deal with bad behavior, then I focus on the good kid. Or I certainly don't focus on the bad behavior, not at all. You deal with bad behavior, then focus on the good kid. In other words, and then parents say, well, they're never good. Well, you got to find a way to connect. But yeah, all this discussing, why would you do that? Do you feel better? Say you're sorry. You know why you shouldn't have done that. That is absolute shaming, blaming, and just mean, plain mean. Okay. He brings up the bad behavior later on, say, oh, well, it's all done. I'm done. It's over. It's over. He's probably used to you talking about it. Or you haven't moved on yet. Are you still mad? There's a reason why he would bring that up. Are you still kind of mad? Yeah. Don't show any anger. Never. I feel like he's my dad. He brings up your bad behavior or his? Yeah, you got to it's the anger. That's why he brings it up. Yeah, for sure. Yep. Let it go. Let it go. On the outside, you can be angry on the inside, but you got to let it go. The only reason is, are you right to be angry? Yeah. Is it right to be right all the time? No. You know, I've known a lot of right fighters in my life, and I was one myself. I have to admit, at this age, I'm not all. But yeah, I was a right fighter at one time. And where does that get you? Being right? It's not always right. Often it's wrong to be right. Just let it go. Yeah. Yeah, when I look back, I'm very good with words. Like, you know how you think later on, I should have said that? I usually can say it. Like, I'm not, but I don't do it much anymore. Like, I don't really do it anymore. I just let a lot more go now. And it's serving me very well because I'm very good at presenting. I only allow nice people in my life now, for one thing. So I don't know anyone who's mean anyway, or snotty or bossy or anything. And so I'm very lucky that way. So I only have good people in my life. And, but yeah, so I'm very selective, but also I'm too happy. I like myself and life too much to be dragged into your garbage. you know? So that's why, like, if a kid's acting out, I'm not going to be dragged into that tantrum. That's just garbage. That's ridiculous. I'm not discussing it. I'm not getting dragged into it. Or if an adult says I'm not, that's your issue. It's not me. It has nothing to do with me. You can't pull me down anymore. I'm too old for that. And but kids are, how do I explain this? They don't really want you to come to their level. They really want you to stay on the higher road. They would rather join you than have you join them. Okay. And once you've joined them on the low road, if they're being negative, they're arguing, that once you join them down there, it's very hard to get back up there. Who's up there to pull you both up? You just stay on that high road. I'll give you a good example of this, kind of going off to sort of not making much sense. Anyway, my mom was really good at this. I call it energy shifting, and she was brilliant at this. I kind of really looked up to my mom. She was very funny, very warm. Everyone loved my mom. She was the matriarch of the whole family. She was the oldest of that generation. Also, known to be bright and very witty. And she was just a really warm, lovely person. She just was. She was nice. Everyone loved my mom. And I remember once I was going on and on and on. I was complaining about something, just being a pain. I didn't have tantrums or anything, but I was just being negative, just going on. And mom was always a very good listener. And she's listening. She's like this. And then after I was finished, she said to me, I'm going to go bake a cake. Do you want to join me? She never mentioned one thing I'd just gone on about. She just shifted the energy. And my reaction was, oh, okay. I was embarrassed. I thought, geez, I was acting like an idiot, wasn't I? And then I went and baked a cake with her, and we had a great time. You see, she stayed on the high road, and I joined her there. You see? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? She was very good at that. Now, what she probably was thinking was, stop being an idiot. She would have been very justified in saying that. But no, she didn't. She said, you see, it's interesting, isn't it? She was very good at that. I didn't really even figure that out until not that long ago. Anyway, that's what she was doing. I knew it too. I knew that's what she was doing. She was basically telling me, you're being an idiot. I'm not going to join in. So you can come join me. I got it, but she never said it like that. Okay. Do you know, oh, you're not going to like me, Reb Forrester. Do you know anything about executive functioning disorder? By itself, not tied to ADHD. Struggling with my almost 7 girl, and all she does is argue. I don't even know what that means. Is that like ODD, one of those things? Yeah, they're just sort of, they're made up to make parents feel good. And you know what's frustrating about that? Is it sort of makes parents go like, not my fault, they've got ODD. Not my fault, they've got this, they've got that. Yeah, it's a way of blaming the child. So I did a video on that. Oh, I don't know if it's out yet. Yeah, it's out. It's out on Instagram. I commented on it today because I'm trying to comment on my videos more. Anyway, it was how parents are very quick to blame the child and not themselves, which I always find fascinating, because if you're blaming the child, it absolves you of any guilt, but it makes them look bad and it makes you look better, which I find fascinating, because don't we all love our children more than we love ourselves? But that is the other way is the exact epitome of loving yourself more than your child. Blame yourself for their behavior. You take total charge. Don't say they've got all these disorders, unless they're real, like ADHD. But even then, those are all the kids I worked with. I still managed to get respect. Take full responsibility for her behavior and say, what am I doing? What am I missing here? All those kids I worked with, I only had them for like an hour a week. If they messed up and were rude or disrespectful to anybody, it usually wasn't me. It was usually a teacher or something. I always thought to myself, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? They weren't even my kids. Always look to yourself. Executive functioning disorder. Jeez, I'm gonna have to look that one up. It sounds like ODD, which is not a real thing. I know doctors have told me ODD is just something they made up to make moms feel better about themselves, which absolves them of taking any action, which is frustrating for me. But anyway, yeah, sorry about that, but I just got to say what I'm thinking. I'm here to get your results. I'm not here to be liked at all. I could care less. Like, I'd rather get you great results and you hate my guts than if you like me and I get you no results, right? Right? Because this is my legacy. This is what I'm teaching is very important to me. I want you to love parenting like I did. That's my goal. That's all I care about here, is I want you to enjoy parenting. What do you do when a 3-year-old keeps asking why about everything? I just say, why? I don't know. And then I just walk away or just ignore. Once they keep going on, say, well, I don't know. And then just walk away. But why? But why? But why? They lean into what works and what doesn't. I remember my daughter once, this drove me insane because I have my own thing about it. She asked me about how is there out in the universe, how is there, it all started with a bang or something. She goes, they'd learned something in school. And she said, but what was there before that? I remember being tortured by that thought when I was like 11. I remember laying in bed at night. I stayed up for hours. How on earth was there ever nothing? Anyway, she triggered that. And then I was up for that whole night. I went through that childhood process again. How was there ever nothing? My brain, my little pea brain could not wrap my head around that question. So I just said, I haven't got a clue. And and she backed off. She knew that if she'd kept pestering me, I wouldn't have answered. Oh, shoot. I got to go over to TikTok now. If you want to join me over there, I'm BratBusters Parenting. If not, check out the link above. I got my free behavior board up there. And our group coaching sessions on Saturdays with the boot camp courses are it's all explained in the link above. So happy parenting. Take care. It's not my fault. TikTok starts an ad as soon as you go on to it. There we go. Okay. Oh, after 3 weeks in the behavior board, you can still leave them up there, but you only do 3 and you don't add anything. But you can, if you've mastered something, you could take something off and put it on another one, but you kind of want to, if you're just using the behavior board, do it that way. Just erase one because you've already got that figured out. You can still do it, but you don't need it up on a board. So you can still follow the rule and then just put a new rule on there, but don't have more than 3 boards up. In the bootcamp course, we go into what you do after that because that's just the training wheels for all this. The behavior board is the training wheels. What happens after that is what I did. Like I would never use a behavior board. It's a teaching tool, but it's still good. I mean, you can still get results with just that. But if you want more, you'd have to get the bootcamp course because that goes into week 4 and beyond. Okay, welcome to my live. I'm Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go in the link above, you can see my free behavior board and all that, everything I've got to offer. Hi, I am a regular from a long time ago. Anyway, so what was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, that's it. Anyway, check that out. And I'm just going to say this again. I talked about this on Facebook and Instagram just now, and I'm on YouTube the whole time, by the way. I got hit by a car. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm still traumatized and want to talk about it. But also, it's a real safety thing to think about. Never expect cars to do the right thing. I just got my crosswalk. It was a dark, rainy morning, and I was on my way to the gym. And I did everything right. I waited till it turned, walk signal. And then white Tesla, whipped it across the corner, like fast. He obviously couldn't have looked. It was kind of a barricade there too. So he couldn't have looked at all. He had no opportunity to miss me, basically. So anyway, and luckily I put my hands down and it pushed me backwards all I was thinking was stay upright. I thought if I go underneath this car, I am dead. So it kind of rolled around and I didn't break anything, but I can't walk very well or anything. So I'll be getting physio. But my point is that don't expect cars to do the right thing with your kids and that. I see kids, when it walks, then you look both ways and go, it's a good idea to get eye contact with drivers sometimes too. And what I did was after, like this just happened yesterday. So I've ordered armbands for my daughter and I. They're not just reflective. They're also got lights flashing on them. So we'll look like idiots walking around, but I don't want to get hit by a car again. It was very traumatizing. They did catch up with him, so he's in trouble. So that's good anyway. But yeah, it was, and I just, I was thinking too, I thought, how many kids could this happen to? Like I'm old. Not that I want to go now, but it's different if it happened to, I'm 64. It'd be different if it happened to a 4-year-old. But yeah, don't trust drivers, just take that extra step. Just maybe wait an extra second before you cross. Because I did go right away, but so did he. So anyway. Oh, and the only reason I did survive was Tesla's, evidently, my daughter told me this. She says they have a sensor on the front bumper that when they touch something, they stop. Because I said to her, it stopped really weird. It was like a powered down boom. It was a really weird sound and everything, the way it stopped. And she goes, that would have been the safety mechanism. It stopped the car. He never saw me. It stopped the car. He didn't. So if he was driving a car without that, I would have been dead because it hit me right dead center. I wouldn't have been veered off. It would but I managed to roll around it. Anyway, some of my life flashed in front of me. It wasn't that exciting. kind of thought, I got to get busy. I got to get a more exciting life so that next time that happens, it'll be more exciting. Guy disliked car technology. Well, that's what saved my life. So yeah. Anyway. So I did go to the gym right after that. And then I was doing, what was I doing? I just did bench presses and then shoulder presses because it's my leg that's bothering me that I got hit on. And then when I was doing my shoulder presses, I could feel myself starting to cry. So embarrassed. And so anyway, I called my daughter and she came and picked me up. And yeah, and then I did go to the gym again this morning, but I was a mess. I work out every day. So to me, it's a non-negotiable. But yeah, I probably should have skipped it for a couple of days. But anyway. There you go. Which live are you reading off of? Which live? Oh, I do look at YouTube, but I'm on, am I on TikTok? Shoot. Yeah, I'm on TikTok now. But I do look at YouTube. I pick and choose what I want to answer because I like to mix up the ages. And if I've had the same question in the last couple lives, I might go on to something different. Or sometimes I just want to talk about garbage, like getting hit by a car. Okay. People learn to rely on it. You know what, though? Yeah, I'm not into, like, I've got a really basic little car. It's more like a toaster. It's so slow. But I'm not into stuff like that. But yeah, it made me think. I thought, geez, I wouldn't mind having a car that just in case, you never know. But anyway, it kind of made me think. Okay, what are your credentials? I really don't have any. I've just been working with kids since I was 11. So that's 53 years now. I started volunteering in daycare centers. I just always understood kids and I knew how to get respect. So, and then I've worked in hospitals, schools, all over the place. And then it was the delinquent teenagers I worked with. They said, you got to teach this stuff, Lisa. No one's ever talked to us like you did. And one of them said to me, I didn't like myself till I met you. Aw, I do know how to get the best out of kids and teens. If I have a gift, that would be it. Oh, and bragging. And making a fool out of myself when I do, every time. If I brag about some, guaranteed. If I say I'm very coordinated, I never fall, I would be flat on my face within a second. I don't know why. I do tend to brag and then I look like an idiot right after. It's really weird. I don't know why I do that. Why would I do that? I know I'm making a fool out of myself. I do it all the time. Yeah, I never forget. I've never lost anything. Oh, shoot, where is that? It's difficult. I don't know why. So, yeah. I don't know why that came up in conversation. Anyway, yeah, I don't really have any formal credentials. I'm experience-based. And about 30, 40, maybe 30% right now of my clients are teachers, principals, or child psychologists. So they have a lot of credentials with kids, but I couldn't do their job. That's different. There's no PhD in parenting. Well, there is. Finish the job and work with hundreds of other kids. That is the PhD and all this stuff. It's experience-based. I don't know how you could ever teach parenting if you haven't finished the job. How do you know if what you're doing is investing in the teen years? How would you have a clue? I don't know how. It'd be like teaching financial advice with $10 in the bank. I wouldn't have a clue how to teach parenting if I hadn't lived with teenagers and raised them into adulthood. So yeah, it's experience-based. Parenting, because parenting's emotional. Okay, 14-year-old girl is opening up a lot. What do I do if I don't know what to say right away? Just say, oh, okay. I'm going to read out my top 4 tips for parenting parenting teenagers, okay? And the number 1 is for you. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. You don't gather information to lecture with because they're going to shut you out. So really, she just wants to talk, but does she say, what should I do? I would say, well, let's try and work it out. I would even do a pro and con list. Get her to figure stuff out with you. Get the conversation to continue on her terms as if she's more the expert than you are, okay? So yeah, I would just say, oh, I don't know what she's telling you. She's probably talking about sex or something, right? Anyway, so yeah, I would just say, oh, okay, so you're ready to get, oh, she's 14. No, she could be. I work with kids who are 12 and expecting, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I would keep the conversation open, but all on her terms and don't come up with answers Get her to work through stuff with you. Anyway, if they want your advice, they'll ask for it because they already know it anyway, basically. Number 2, negotiate as much as possible. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? It just is a different level of respect. You're more likely to get respect if you give it. Number 3, don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. If they do something stupid, just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. Everyone makes mistakes. Do you want to hear what I did this morning? Do you want to hear what I did yesterday? Okay. Number 4, don't leverage the good times to talk about the bad times. So if you're connecting with your teenager and you've had a rocky relationship, all of a sudden you're out having fun together, don't say, gee, I'm glad we're getting along, because the last 2 years with you has been a living hell. Actually, I had parents say that. So yeah, then you can't figure out why they give you the finger and leave the room. Mystery. So yeah, that's my top 4 tips for parenting teenagers. They're my favorite age by far. I specialize in teenagers. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not difficult at all. It's just parents don't adjust their parenting to the teen years. So it's a lack of understanding of the teen years. You got to back off a bit. Don't try and micromanage everything with teenagers. They're going to make mistakes, but if you're a good leader, they're going to come and tell you everything, and they're going to work through things. I remember my son said, the fact that I tell you so much, he said, keeps me from doing anything bad, because I know I'm going to end up telling you anyway. So yeah, you want that openness, right? "14-year-old is grumpy." Well, that sounds like a healthy teenager to me. Do you ask what's up or just ignore it? What you're saying, what's up? You're saying, what's wrong with you? Yeah, don't say that. Just try and be cheery and just brush it off. Okay? It's very normal. Think about it. They've got hormones flying through their body. It affects their brain. It literally can make them, I don't want to say the word, but some of my clients are child psychologists. They've told me there's a term that they use with that, or this one did anyway. It's not very flattering, but it makes sense. They kind of lose their minds sometimes. Like that's why they're so rash and so irrational, and it's hormones. I remember I was working at this place, and it was me. I was young. I was 18. And I was a secretary, and it was a marketing pool for our phone company. And it was all the salesmen. So I was like 18. They were like 30, 35. They were all funniest guys. And I was going to say funny young guys, but they were older to me. They were all like a bunch of big brothers to me. Anyway, and I had a pretty good sense of humor, and so did they. So we used to laugh a lot. And I remember one day I had my period or PMS or something. And I said something, can you just wait? I said, I'll get to it. And he went, ooh, someone's got PMS. And what he did was he made up a calendar, and he wrote down like Lisa's PMS, Lisa's 2 days before PMS, and he wrote down for the whole year. He put it up in front of everybody. So whenever they'd come over to talk to me, he'd yell out, check the calendar first. Turns out I was a little bit moody. So yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? It was very funny. Yeah, I'll turn up the music and playlist and her playlist and be happy. Yeah, don't go overboard with it, but yeah, just like this, just let it roll off. Doesn't bother you at all. Please answer, Ella. Okay, I get dizzy when I go back, but I'll actually look back. Because someone else asked me, okay, 18-month-old toddler hitting herself and only me when yeah. Okay, so they're hitting you because they're familiar with you. Anyway, if they're hitting you, just physically restrain them. She's only 18 months old, and say no. Hold her hands or hitting hands, and you say no. And then if she goes to hit again, don't let her continue to hit. You don't keep going, no, no. You just keep holding her hands and say, go like that, no. And then you can just put her down and walk away and do the dishes or something. Okay, so yeah, she'll eventually get it. They don't get it the first 20 times. It usually takes 50 or 60 times before a little one gets it. But yeah, you just got it. But you got to be consistent. You can't just do this sometimes. You got to pick your battles, and you only pick one usually per week and fix that one. Then you move on to the next. And when they're really little, they'll often regress too. So she might be really good for a week, and then she'll go back to hitting again. And you'll go, what the heck? Is she insane? No, she's just little. They're just going to try stuff, and they're going to keep trying it sometimes. And there's 4 things that they're born to do or they're never going to do. One is hitting. like aggressive behavior. The other one is running. The other one is climbing. They often go hand in hand, running and climb. Not always, but they often do, because they're that physical, no fear. They'll just run into traffic kind of thing. And the last one is tantrums. It's not your fault they do these things, but it's your responsibility to train them out of them. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to look at YouTube now. I'm not going to look at videos. I'm going to look at the questions. Oh, okay. Well, I do not know. You have to explain that. Miriam, my 5-year-old son likes to annoy me in the most subtle way, and he gets consequences right. Oh, I don't know what he's doing. Give me an example. I can't comment on that. When you say subtle and then he gets a consequence, I don't know. Is it attitude? You never discipline attitude. Yeah, you got to say what he's doing. Okay. My son did all 4. I had someone on a live once. They said, my kid does all 7. And then they said, I've added a few. That was great. Okay. Yeah, it's nothing to do with you. They just are born that way. They are born to tantrum. They are born to hit. They are born to run. They are born to climb. It's just things, it's in their DNA. And often the climbers and the runners are often the athletes of tomorrow. So my kids didn't have anything except my son had tantrums, and he didn't have a lot of them, but when he had them, he was good at it. Geez, they're annoying. They are annoying. I hate tantrums, but he grew out of them. I feel my inner 14-year-old come out when she gives attitude. I do remember once I said to my son, he had tantrums when he was little. Generally, if they have tantrums when they're little, it's a temperament thing. They're born with a certain temperament. I never had tantrums, and I don't really have a temper as an adult. It takes a lot to annoy me, and it's only when I feel trapped and I can't get away from people. Now I've got no one in my life that does that to me. I've eliminated everyone who's nasty. So, because I can do that because I'm old. Anyway, but when you feel trapped, I would get upset, but now I'm not. So I don't really have a temper. It's a temper. And when they're teenagers, they're often the moody teenagers. So when they have tantrums when they're little, they might be the moody teenagers. And the short-tempered adults. It's just it's a personality trait. It's a temper. But they learn as they get older to manage that, right? Like, don't take it out on other people. Would you ignore a tantrum or redirect? I ignore them, but under 15, 16 months old, under 16 months old, I do tend to use indirect redirection. So if they're having a tantrum, I go off to the side and read their favorite book out loud, all to myself. You're still ignoring them. You don't look at them or talk to them. The whole idea is they'll just wander over, sit in your lap, and next thing you know, you're reading a book. Never discuss tantrums before, during, or after. It's ridiculous. Don't do it. So that's the whole idea. What if they come over and try and hit you in that? I would just stand up and maybe read the book or just look around, and then I go back to ignoring. Then you might try it again, indirect redirection. So you don't say, over here, I'm going to read a book. That's direct redirection. I don't do that. Okay. What do I do about disrespectful 19-year-old at home, college, ignoring me and calling out? Yeah. Okay. I only go up to 18 years old when I'm coaching. The oldest I ever agreed to, that would be like coaching with me. I don't know your relationship. I have to assess the whole situation. Plus, you need leverage. And I only took on that 25-year-old, the parents who had 25-year-old, because she had no job. She was living at home and completely financially dependent upon her parents. We had a lot of leverage. And she was 25 going on 12. She was very immature because they had spoiled her rotten, and then they were paying the price for it. So yeah, I can't answer that. For one thing, I kind of stop at 18, but if you hire me, he has to be dependent upon you in some way. That would be one-on-one coaching with me. I have to assess the situation. There's no easy answer to that. Can you come live with us, please? I've been offered a lot of money, like big life-altering money, to go and live with people, like in different countries around the world. But if you're a billionaire, like offering me the money they've offered me is nothing to them, I guess. But yeah, then I said to them, well, what happens when I come back home? Like, why would I do that? Like, what happens when I leave? Same situation. I know how to get respect, but they didn't want to be involved either. Teach our kids to be respectful, but we don't want to be there. I'm like, yeah, I don't do that. It's easy for me, but I'm teaching you how to do it. Yeah, I get a lot of offers. I get offers too with clients when I'm coaching. And then they say stuff like this. I've had a few of them say this. They say, okay, we have a really big home and we've got lots of help around here, nannies and all that. And they say, if you'd be willing to move in with us, we would take you here. We'd pay for all your airfare, of course. We'd pay you, a good amount of money, and we'll take you around. You can just sightsee, but just like 2 hours a day. You just have to coach us 2 hours a day. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not giving up my life for that amount of time. It's funny. But yeah, I can do that just by Zooming. I don't need to be there. I can Zoom that. Is the coaching career consistent? Oh, you want business advice? I've been doing this for 17 years. So, you don't want to talk about business. I don't want to talk about business on here. No. The one thing I would say is a lot of people, they're really good at something. They think they can sell it. You also have to have a business head. You can't just be good at your craft. You have to also know how to manage it, how to sell it, how to market it, how to do all the admin, the legal stuff, accounting. There's two different parts to that. You can be really good at something, but running a business is completely different from being good at something. You got to have those two things put together. And you can outsource a lot, but you still have to know what you're outsourcing. So yeah, I'm not good at business. I don't like it. I've had to learn more than I ever wanted to learn about business because I don't find it interesting at all. But I love what I do. But it's important enough to me to go through all the hell of learning what I had to learn to run a business because I love what I do. So, but you got to be good at what you do too. You got to be pretty sure that what you're doing is serving people in a very good way. That's my view. I'm very ethical. I really believe in what I'm doing. So you got to be good at what you do, or else people are going to pick up on that. Yeah, it's hard work. I wouldn't wish entrepreneurship on anyone. It's hard work, lots of ups and downs. I've been there. I've been in it 17 years now. It's lots of ups and downs. And not just financially. It's like stuff will come up and you'll go, wow, didn't see that one coming. So yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful what you say yes to. Now that I've got a big following, I'm very selective on who I let interview me and, like stuff like that in podcasts and that. Very selective. So you gotta be careful. Oh, I'm just going to look at, need to do a mother's retreat. Yeah. Do you know how much work that would be to set up a retreat? The only way I would do anything like that is if someone else did it and then I just turned up as a guest speaker. That's the only way I would do that. I would never, ever set up a retreat. My God, my daughter did one once. I can't even fathom the amount of work that must go into that. All the insurance and all the, oh my God. Yeah. But yeah, I would turn up as a guest speaker. I would love to do that. But yeah, I would never organize it. Oh, this is so cute. This is the same person. My 3-year-old says, Mom, stop looking at your nails, as I'm ignoring his tantrum. Because I always say, just go like this and ignore or file your nails or whatever. Stop looking at your nails. Okay, then just look at the trees. Look at the birds. That's cute. How old? He's young to say that. That's funny. He's young to say that. I could see a 4 or 5-year-old coming up with that. 3 is pretty young to say that. One of my favorite stories, I've told it many times, was a client, they had an 8-year-old little girl. And they told me in the very first session, she was very spoiled. They said that they really gave her way too much stuff. Anyway, she was very entitled. And so she was 8 and they said she's very bright. And everyone says that. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And it doesn't mean anything to me. Anyway, it turns out she was pretty clever, all right. The second session, they turn up and they say, you won't believe what she did. She called me that lady and the behavior board was up. And she said to her parents, she goes, you guys are wonderful parents. You don't need that lady. And she took the behavior board down. And they said, yes, we do. And they put it back up. I've never heard of a child buttering up her parents to get rid of me. That was the first time I've ever heard of that. You're wonderful parents. Oh, how clever is that, eh? She came up, I can't remember the other things. I've got it all in their file, but yeah, they had, there's a few things she came out with that were just as clever. Wow. Do you have Danish? No, I'm Norwegian and French. Do you think it's a problem that my 1.5-year-old won't sit for circle time? All the other kids do. No, I think it's more of a problem that the other ones do. Your son's probably more the norm. You just happen to be in a very calm group of 1-year-olds. So yeah, I would say that it's weird that they do. So yeah, maybe he just doesn't like the story. Wouldn't worry about it. And they change all the time too. Like my granddaughter, she's just 9 months old. They took her to like a jamboree thing, and she just screamed through the whole first one. She was scared, all new. And then the next time she's walking on the, what do they call that? The balancing beam or whatever. My son's holding her hands, and so they change all the time. You never know. You can't, just when you think you got them figured out, they change, and you go, oh, okay, I didn't see that one coming. He's sassy. He turned 3 in July. Oh, that's pretty sassy. That's cute, actually. I often laugh when my clients are telling me what their kids did, and they say, "Yeah, it's funny for you because you don't have to live with it." And I say, "I know. That's I'm enjoying it so much." Kids are funny. They just do crazy stuff. A lot of it works. Parents give in to a lot. Okay. I have a very unmotivated teenager. What can I do to help her? Yeah. I always say teenagers, it's coaching because I have to assess the whole situation. But if you've got a really unmotivated teenager, you've got leverage. You're probably paying for the phone. I would say, I'll tell you what, I want you to do, and make it small. I want you to get your homework. As soon as you come home from school, you can have like an hour's break. And then I'm going to take your phone and you'll get it back when you've done your homework. Or whatever you want her to do, and then you negotiate it. Say, do you think that sounds fair? No, it's not. Well, then what do you think? Because if you don't think it's fair, it's going to happen anyway. I'm willing to negotiate. Maybe give her an hour and a half after school. And you see, like you come in with negotiations with the teenager. So yeah, but just say it like it is. Look, you got to do your homework. You got to do this or that. But pick your battles. Make it something that sort of is worth fighting for. Sort of, Like clean rooms, probably not worth fighting for. But I allowed my kids to keep their rooms messy when they were teenagers. And I'm ultra fussy. So I just made that choice. You got to give them something, right? So, and they're really good kids. But there was no food or dirty laundry allowed in their rooms because I always said I don't want rats building nests in your room with all that and smelling and all that. So that was it. But you got to give them something. So negotiate. 14-year-old daughter suddenly doesn't want anything to do with me. How interesting are you compared to boys and their friends who are all into makeup and talking about boys and then talking about boys? And, how interesting are you really compared to that? Like, look what you're competing against. So yeah, I'll tell you what though. My top 4 tips for parenting teenagers. Things change when they're teenagers. Okay. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. When you get good at this, everyone wants to talk to you because you're good at listening and showing empathy. Adults too. Everyone wants to talk to someone who gets good at this. So she's more likely to tell you everything. Don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or she will shut you out. Pretty much guaranteed. Okay. Negotiate as much as possible. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper from now on. What do you want from me? Number 3, don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. Just say, well, that was stupid. Like if it's something small, and say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. Bring humor into it. And don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. So if you're having a good moment with her, enjoy it. Don't discuss the moments that you're not enjoying her. Don't use that opportunity to tell her what you're thinking or something like that. Yeah, be very careful with that. So yeah, but very normal. Very normal. Well, oh geez, you're going to hate me. 2-year-old's very bossy. If we say no, she'll not let it go. How can she not let it go? She's 2. What exactly is she doing that? Are you giving in? I don't understand that. How on earth is a 2-year-old controlling you? She will not let it go, but you do. What does her not letting it go have to do with you? I don't understand that. She doesn't have to let it go, but you do. If you've dealt with something, that's it. Just let it go. Let her do whatever she wants. You're just acting like you don't even notice. And you can move on to something else. Say, oh, I'm going to go bake a cake. Do you want to help me? And she's still on to something else. Just ignore that stuff. You're done with it. You lead. You're reacting to her. Let her react to you. Leaders act and people react to leaders. That's what I teach. I teach leadership parenting. But when you're playing, discipline is a tiny part of all this. It's more about connecting. Okay. So you connect with your kids, you play in their world, you have fun with them. But when you are disciplining or they're being difficult, that's when you just sort of, whatever, you just sort of ignore that stuff. Unless they do something bad, you discipline the actions. But if she's just arguing with you, she's 2 years old, I would just say, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do the dishes now or something. Don't let her pull you in. She's probably doing this and pulling you in, right? Fish hooking you. Yeah, don't allow that. Okay, I got to get going. Anyway, what was I going to say? Nothing. I got nothing else to say. Okay, so you can check out the link above. That's where all my stuff is. My website has everything on it. And yeah, we've still got our group coaching sessions. We've got 5 more of them. They're Saturdays. They're included for free with the bootcamp courses right now. So you can check that out. We've already done one and it is already on the course because we take those Zooms and we put them on the course. So after we're done. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting. Bye now.